in the Zimbabwe electoral process are electoral malpractices which happen. It's a given that the ruling party indeed rules even on election day when people are not supposed to campaign. They'll still be doing things that are outside the code of conduct. And you've got the liaison committee for every election, which is a district level where there's the officer commanding of that district, known as the DISPO. You've also got the provincial officer commanding the PROPO, who's also in charge of the province. And at national level, you have a senior, a commissioner now. He used to be senior assistant commissioner who chairs. And the last election, if you remember, Commissioner Erasmus Makodza was the person in charge of the liaison committee. What does the liaison committee do? It is the one that enforces the violation of the code of conduct, the violence that happens. And there must be a special court, again, that disposes of those matters immediately. I repeat, there's a special court, again, that disposes of those matters immediately. It's supposed to give confidence. But again, it's not many from the ruling party who are brought before the courts. It's not many in the ruling party who face the full wrath of the law. They don't at all. I've learned to understand that. I've learned to appreciate that. But I've also learned to work with it. At the end of the day, you've got to keep doing what you have to do, because people in our country too have developed this thick skin of supporting the underdog, that they are discouraging people from supporting X in the ballot box. If there's anything, they ginger people. I don't know why the system has not picked that up. Zimbabweans usually are very sympathetic, and most successful people even strive. Mliswa, for example, for him to get his license, and there are politicians who tried to block him at the time. People were with him. He got the license, and he got sympathy support. Sympathy support. You don't see it. It is the most dangerous support because you don't see it. There's also the support which is protest, which you don't also see it. And there's also something which I've always spoken about, which is a generational consensus, where you have got a certain generation wanting to occupy a space to dictate its future. The same way the late Robert Gabriel Mugabe stood against the Smith regime. The same way Ubaba Wetu, the late Joshua Nkomo, did the same. Herbert Chitepo, Josiah Tongogara, the late Nikita Mangena, the current president, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. It is that oppression of the system that gave them that inspired them, motivated them to liberate this country. I repeat, they were oppressed. They were detained in prison. A lot of things happened under the Smith regime. There was racism. Did that stop independence from coming? It did not. If there's anything, they got together. They were united. They were stronger. They were more determined. So the question that I ask our leaders today, the very same spirit that you had in conquering those impediments, why don't you think others don't have them? Why don't you think others don't have them? With the moment that they realize that others have them, who also are the same age as they were when they were liberating the country, and the very same way they were supported by the masses in liberating the country. Because it was not only about the leadership, it was about the people supporting the cause, the noble cause of liberating this country. Unfortunately, that war had blood. But the coming of democracy moving forward does not need to have blood. And anybody who uses blood to be in power, God is God. God is God. God has his time. We all are created by God. Romans 13 verse 1, if I'm not mistaken, talks about God putting leaders in power. The very same power he has in putting leaders in power is also the power he has in dethroning them from the power. So to me, lessons must be learned. Our leaders seem not to learn lessons. They want to be heavy handed. Yet the world is fast changing. There's a different generation that today is able to tell you the truth in a factual manner. And they no longer, again, are sellouts. No, they're also part of the founding principles of the struggle. Everybody now supports the founding principles of the struggle. Even the liberators of this country, the war veterans themselves, are not liberated in this second republic. This is coming from the first republic again, and I'm glad to say that there's something which is a plus for the people moving into elections. The war veterans themselves have publicly said they will not be involved.
Honorable Mliswa,
Yes.
Honorable Mliswa, I hate to interrupt you, but I hope you are rounding up because we are running out of time.
Okay, I'm rounding up. The war veterans themselves, and this is a plus for the people of Zimbabwe, and this must give them encouragement, have finally said, we liberated this country for everyone. We did not liberate this country for any party. We liberated this country for people who will stand by the founding principles of the struggle: one man, one vote, economic emancipation, empowerment. So that is a game changer on its own, because for a very long time, they were the foot soldiers who were used to putting brutal, merciless leaders in power. But now that has come to an end. We're now seeing a good generation. And let me give credit to Chamisa, training his youth in the past not to react, not to be violent. This is what we want leaders. We expect His Excellency, Comrade E. Dim Nangagwa, who is a lawyer, okay, who is the number one citizen of this country, to send the very same message to the citizens of this country, more so to his ruling party, Zanu PF, which must lead by example in showing that they are not in power, not by force or by blood, by sheer democracy at the end of the day. Let's be the democracy that people want and build the Zimbabwe that they want under proper.
Thank you very much for that response, Honorable Mliswa. So I have been a bad host. We're supposed to be ending this space in a minute, but we have to give the audience an opportunity to ask questions and to comment. Please, my